Hi, welcome to Bitcoin Nightly News. I'm your host, Hugh Manatee. My goal is to bring you on my daily Bitcoin journey and share the relevant stories and themes of the day. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow on X. Today's stories include Bitcoin ETF inflows over the last few days, a really great post by Dylan LeClaire, uh, new MicroStrategy bond issuance news, and some more news on the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve from Senator Cynthia Lummis. Let's dive into some ETFs. Yesterday was a good day for ETFs. It's currently Thursday, the 21st. Um, Yesterday, Wednesday, looks like about 7,900 Bitcoin inflow for the Bitcoin ETFs. The day before, I think I had a different number. I think I had like 88,000 something, but I think these numbers were adjusted. I think some numbers from these ETFs hadn't come in yet, so it pushed it above 9,000 for Tuesday. So good inflows the last 3 days for the ETFs. So far this week, all positive after ending the last week negative. So that's good to see. And in keeping with some knowledge and learning on the channel, I wanted to kind of go over this post from Dylan LeClaire. Um, I'm frankly not digesting it fully yet, but basically he's talking about how large the options market is for the Bitcoin ETFs and how the opening of options markets has really elevated the liquidity and allowed a lot more capital to flow into spot Bitcoin, um, especially with this and the options market developing Bitcoin as a collateral asset and Bitcoin as kind of like the base layer of this instrument, going through a repricing as collateral. Pretty interesting stuff. The whole post is based on the perp futures annualized funding rate, and he kind of points out that the perp funding rate is rather low here, and we're at all-time highs. And historically, the perp funding rate was a lot higher around all-time highs in previous cycles here. And basically, he's calling for TradFi being massively underweight BTC exposures where it matters, which is in the bond and credit markets. Structurally, what's taking place is a repricing of Bitcoin as a collateral asset. When you see a $3 billion MicroStrategy zero coupon convertible at a 55% conversion premium that was oversubscribed, this is merely a sign to come over the next year ahead. So a lot of capital is coming into spot Bitcoin via these ETFs, and this also means a supply of credit coming for collateralized Bitcoin loans and structured products. It's going to be a massive narrative coming in 2025, and I fully agree. Great stuff from Dylan. This is really good stuff. I'm still learning a lot about like open interest in futures markets and funding rates and that whole side of this business. I'm trying to bone up on that a lot, so I'm trying to take you through what I'm learning as well. Let's dive into actually what Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy did. They completed a $3 billion offering of a convertible notes at 0% coupon at a 55% premium with an implied strike price of $672. I think the stock is trading in the 400s after peaking at a little over 500. So this is Michael Saylor being confident in the Bitcoin treasury strategy. All in, all together. All gas, no brakes. Watcher Guru, shout out. They posted about Marathon Digital, one of the largest Bitcoin miners, raising $1 billion to purchase more Bitcoin. And here, Crypto T commented, thought this was pretty funny actually and fitting. People have found the escape hole. This will accelerate hyperinflation. So the convergence of incentives towards Bitcoin is kind of triggering this game theory of borrowing fiat and pummeling it into the scarcest asset on earth, which is Bitcoin. And that seems to be happening at an accelerating rate. So Marathon is engaging in that. Okay, Marty Party, shout out, says Reuters reporting that Donald Trump's Crypto Advisory Council is expected to set up promised Bitcoin reserve. Again, I haven't seen anything firsthand myself, but from what I gather on X, it looks like support for the Bitcoin reserve is growing in Washington, D.C. I think people are coming around to the value proposition for Bitcoin strategic reserve to help with the debt issue first and foremost. I think that's a clear winner of a orange pill argument. And it looks like it's garnering support. And some support at the state level from the Bitcoin conference. They posted about Giovanni Capriglione, a Texas member of the House of Representatives, so a legislative member in Texas, is calling for a Bitcoin reserve for Texas. Dennis Porter talked about this in a post, which I thought was interesting. Numerous states, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Texas, have been calling for investment in Bitcoin with some fervor recently. And Dennis Porter says that states leading the way vocally will push the federal government to do this, the federal and U.S. government level Bitcoin reserve faster. And I think that's right. I think the states are leading from the front here and trying to force the hand of the federal government. Here's a video of Senator Cynthia Lummis on CNBC. I wanted to kind of let you hear her. I think this is a really good clip. It's about a minute long. And then we're going to dive into an X post from Senator Lummis that I thought was really interesting.
You know, we got off the gold standard a long time ago. My question is how much you would spend tax dollars at a time where we're talking about trying to reduce costs. How much would you spend on Bitcoin as part of this reserve?
We wouldn't have to spend any new dollars. We have reserves at our 12 Federal Reserve banks, including gold certificates that could be converted to current fair market value. They're held at their 1970s value on the books, and then sell them into Bitcoin. That way, we wouldn't have to use any new dollars in order to establish this reserve. The United States already holds over 200,000 Bitcoin in the asset forfeiture funds. So that would be the initial source of Bitcoin. So no new money spent on this reserve.
That's Cynthia Lummis. She wants to convert the U.S. Bitcoin or U.S. gold into Bitcoin. And if you look at the Bitcoin Act that is on the agenda for Congress on the website that she proposed, it does talk about selling gold and purchasing Bitcoin, and it gives time frames to do it, and they're rather quick, in my opinion. And that bill also looks like Act 1 for removing power from the Federal Reserve. If you read the entire bill, it's kind of how it reads. It's pretty interesting. Let's move on to a post from Cynthia Lummis to really back this up. She talks about the Department of Government efficiency and the strategic Bitcoin reserve are two sides of the same coin. We have to cut spending, starting with the low-hanging fruit of waste, fraud, and abuse. Doge is taking that on. We have to address the current debt, past sins, so it does not encumber future Americans. That's where SBR comes in. So I think her putting Doge and SBR together is a really interesting juxtaposition. It's something I've been thinking of in tandem as well. The amount of change that this administration looks to try to get accomplished rather quickly. I think the SBR and Doge really are two sides of the same coin, and will lead us into a better future. And it's pretty interesting stuff. A lot of this is happening rather quickly. It's exciting to see. Again, I do this daily show on the weekdays to help people who are new to the space get introduced to Bitcoin, because so much is happening so fast. No one's ever late to Bitcoin. It's such a great time to learn. Please join me on this journey for more Bitcoin content, more Bitcoin news like this. See you tomorrow.